What is up, everybody? This is Cody, aka DFS Prodigy, coming to you live to talk about the upcoming Draftkings DFS slate for the NFL, basically the main slate, as we know. So we have a ton of games on the board. We have a lot of options we like, don't like, so on and so forth. But before we start, like our usual, hit that like button for me, guys. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me out a lot, as y'all know. And let's just kind of take it from there. So up top, we have Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson. So all these guys at the very top are viable options, but my favorites would be Aaron Rodgers. He'll be low owned against the Jaguars. He's in a good matchup like usual. I'm all over him. You'll be able to fit in Devontae Adams with the receiver that I like at value that we'll go over pretty soon. So like I said, my top option would be Aaron Rodgers. I also like Kyler Murray, but he's a little high priced to me, so that's a little iffy to me. Because of what you can get with Aaron Rodgers at a better, basically, ownership. So, I mean, I don't want to mind Kyler Murray, but then again, I'd rather just pivot down to Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson, same situation. It's a high-scoring game, but I'd rather pivot up to Aaron Rodgers. But like I said, you could go with Murray or Wilson. Josh Allen is in also a high-scoring game with Kyler Murray on the opposite side. This game can go back and forth. We've seen Josh Allen bounce back in a huge way last week. I also like Deshaun Watson, who is in an easy matchup with Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks basically coming into form. Justin Herbert's an okay option to me. Jared Goff is a low-owned, cheap option for value that I like that should be able to keep up with Russell Wilson. The guys down here, I don't really mind, and I'm not really getting to. I'd rather just go up top and basically lock those guys in. So Deshaun Watson, Allen, Wilson, Rodgers, Murray, I love all of them. My favorite would be Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff. So let's move on to running backs. Christian McCaffrey is out, so that's a big news for Mike Davis, who, if y'all notice, Mike Davis is not up top at all. Wonder where he's at? He's all the way down at a price point of $4,000. So $4,000 for Mike Davis is crazy to me with what you can get, basically. So he's basically a free square. Also, we have David Johnson out, which Duke Johnson all the way down here at the bottom also at only $5,000. So those are basically two free squares that I love at running back that are in great matchups. We see Mike Davis. We've seen him do well. Those are free squares and will allow you to pay up for guys at the very top in the receiver and quarterback option. Alvin Kamara, you can pivot to him up top. He'll be low owned against that San Fran defense. I don't mind him. We've seen him in the offense. Aaron Jones is a guy that I do like with the Aaron Rodgers stack. I wouldn't mind getting Aaron Jones because we've seen him in the pass catching option, and he's basically just the mini version of Alvin Kamara. James Conner, I mean, you can get to him if you get to him. If you don't, you don't. Nick Chubb is back and ready to go in this matchup, so that basically virtually takes out Kareem Hunt. I would not get to Kareem Hunt whatsoever. James Robinson has been surprisingly good for this undrafted guy. He's in a good matchup against the Green Bay defense. You could run him back easily with their Green Bay stack. Josh Jacobs, I'd rather just get you James Robinson. Miles Sanders is a low-owned guy that I like a lot, who's ready to go. He's back from injury. He said he's ready, prepared pretty much. So Miles Sanders is basically a go-to guy in the mid-range that I like a lot. Chase Edmonds will only be an option if Kenny Drake is out, which Kenny Drake is looking to play. Joe Mixon is out, which makes Giovanni Bernard a good option, but it's the Steelers defense, so watch out for that. Boston Scott, he's out because, or he's not on my board because of Miles Sanders. Darrell Henderson, I'm staying away from the Rams. Antonio Gibson is a good option to me. He's a good option to me because he's facing Detroit, who's awful against running backs. They give up over 100 yards a game to running backs. Give me Antonio Gibson all day, every day. Like I said, Giovanni Bernard, he's in play now because Mixon's out. Ronald Jones Jr., I'm not on him because of the Fournette. Melvin Gordon, I'll never get to him. All these guys down here I'm just basically off of. So my favorite plays would be Duke Johnson. I like me some Giovanni Bernard, and I like me some Antonio Gibson, so on and so forth. Let's go to receivers. Receivers, I know the strategy that I normally go to is I pair at least 1 to 2 receivers with my quarterback. So Devontae Adams, $9,000. I like him a lot, though. Lock him in. I'm basically going to lock in Gibson. I like Gibson a lot. I like me some Duke Johnson. I like me some Mike Davis. And I do like me some Aaron Rodgers. So, as y'all can tell, we do need a run back option, and we're have a good amount of salary left. So let's just go over the receivers. DeAndre Hawkins, he's 7,700, and we know how this is going to go. He gets you yardage, but as you seen last week, the pass interference calls hurt him a lot. So you can, if you get to him, you get to him. If you don't, you don't. DK Metcalf, I'm staying away from basically that stack because of how high owned it's going to be. So I'm off of Metcalf and Lockett. Stephon Diggs is a similar story. I think that stack is going to be high owned. I'd rather get to my Aaron Rodgers and my Devontae Adams stack. Keenan Allen, he's getting over 10 targets a game. I like him a lot. To Michael Thomas, I just haven't seen enough of him to trust him, so I'm off of him. Kupp, I know how we feel about Kupp. He's giving you consistent targets, but you also have Robert Woods on the other side, which is right here next to him. Scary T, it's an okay option to me. Will Fuller is a guy I do like. I think he's a good option, just like Brandon Cooks. Tyler Boyd, I'm not on any of the Cincinnati. DJ Chark is playing, so look out for him. My run back, or he would be one of my run back options, but you also have Chenault Jr. out, so I'm going to go all the way down here to a guy like Keelan Cole, who is only 3,400, which is cheap as heck. Continuing with receivers, I got off the train with the Jaguars. Mike Evans, I'm not on Mike Evans, rather just get to Chris Godwin down here, only $6,000. Kenny Galladay is out, so look for Marvin Jones to have a usage bump a ton. So I like Marvin Jones Jr. Jarvis Landry, I mean, he's an option if you want to get to him because he's the only guy on the Browns roster that's viable. Not really getting to any of these guys, but let's talk about a guy that I also like. Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard is a guy that Aaron Rodgers have talked up in training camp a ton, and basically a top option that I like at only 4,000. He's going to get a bunch of snaps. I'm all over Allen Lazard, which he should be in line to play after 2 weeks of basically playing. So this was from the 14th. So what day would that be? Today. So he hasn't been activated yet off the IR, but if he is in line to play, I like him a lot. So look out for him. Tight ends. Oops. What's wrong with my internet? Come on. Tight ends. Let's move on to basically tight ends. George Kittle is on the IR, so don't look out for him. Darren Waller is a clear-cut guy that I'm on a ton. So I wouldn't mind getting him as a one-off. It's Darren Waller. We know what you're going to get out of him, over 10 targets a game. He's going to get you a ton of yardage. I like Darren Waller a lot. Hawkinson is questionable, so look out for Jesse James all the way down at the bottom down here. I believe at 2,200 last time I saw. Maybe it changed. I think it was 3,200. Let me double check on that price. 2,500. Close enough. 2,500 is easily a guy in play that I like as a value. So Jesse James could be a guy you could look to if T.J. Hawkinson is out. My internet is being dumb again, so let me X off that. Come on now. There we go. So Noah Fant, you know what you're going to get out of him also. He's been a guy that Drew Lock looks to a lot. I like Noah Fant some. Rob Gronkowski, I don't really typically play him. Jared Cook is getting consistent targets, but he's facing a good defense in the San Francisco 49ers. Evan Ingram is in a monster matchup versus the Eagles, who the Eagles have given up a ton of yards to the tight ends. I don't mind Evan Ingram, but he's not a good pass-catching guy that I don't know why he gets hyped up. Ebron is a low-end guy that I like a lot. I think he could be definitely in play to me. Mike Gesicki, I'm not on him. Dallas Goddard is coming back from injury without Zach Ertz, so Dallas Goddard would be the main guy on the tight end roster for the Eagles. So you could look to him. You could look to Hunter Henry, so on and so forth. I do like Austin Hooper, though, against this Houston defense a lot, who's being activated off the injury report. So defenses, I basically just try to play the ones that's in a good matchup. I mean, I like the Eagles defense facing the Giants in an easy matchup. I like the Saints facing Nick Mullins, so on and so forth. I do like the Steelers, but they're high priced a little bit to me. Packers versus Jake Luton, I wouldn't mind that. So basically, I wouldn't mind any of these defenses, the Eagles, Packers, Steelers, Saints. I wouldn't mind any of them. But basically, this is the core that I do like. So y'all can just fill in the blank and kind of go from there. But this is the core I'm locking and loading for this week, guys. So Again, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button for me, guys. That helps me out a lot. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. And thank you. And I hope everybody has a good and safe day. Have a good one, everybody.